Clobbering time!
Shock the Punk!
God damn it. Sheik, let me have my moment. CM Punk! CM Punk! CM Punk!
I'll call you Punk because you're Punk!
Son of a bitch. Sheik, I liked you actually. CM Punk also likes you. Why do you hate on him so much?
Because I'm the real legend!
God
I'm the best in the world!
Didn't you have like drug issues?
That's a medicine!
I'm the legend of Lord Dan Gable.
You suck, Andre Joel. You suck. Fabulous Moolah. You suck. Jim Roberts. You suck.
Skinny bastard.
You suck.
Hulk Hogan.
You suck. His puppet. Jimmy Hart. You suck. Son of a bitch. Break your back. With a beer bottle.
Fuck your ass.
You don't rock it. Break your back. You're the man.
Fuck your ass.
I'm the man.
Straight edge, baby. Yo, we are back. Survivor Series happened last night. Everything you need to know about it, we're going to go over tonight. And of course, the biggest news of it all, CM Punk, after not almost 10 years, just short of that, he has come back. The fourth wall is broken. Vince McMahon leaves, and who comes back?
For the record, I don't share the same opinion as Sheik. I happen to like the fact that CM Punk is back.
Hell yeah.
I would have preferred it to be in AEW. But as I said before, I will accept the fact graciously that he is at least back in the world of wrestling in the WWE.
I agree wholeheartedly. I am waiting to be not thirsting for Punk in AEW. And that all depends. And we're going to go over all of our takes on the return of CM Punk and much, much more. Survivor Series breakdown today. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Follow us on all socials, Instagram and TikTok. We're getting a Twitter soon, I believe. So stay tuned with that.
Angle had the 3 eyes. I only have 3 requests. Like, comment, subscribe.
There you go. You want to tell them about your shirt?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Mo at Retail Therapy Clinic, a.k.a. the TBA podcast as well. Not the PBS like the Iron Sheik likes to call it, but the TBA podcast. So, of course, my buddy Pedge is on there as well. Be sure to tune into that for other subjects outside of pro wrestling. But this is pro wrestling, and so we will be focused tonight on the card for Survivor Series.
That's right. Survivor Series. My favorite Survivor Series, I want to say, and it goes way back to Undertaker's debut. I would say this, at the minimum, matched that. And besides the Taker debut at that Survivor Series, there's not much more that I cared for out of that. I don't know which year it would have been, but I'd have to look that up. Anyway, 91, I believe, was the year of Survivor Series, the Undertaker debut. But this, top to bottom, the spectacle that is Survivor Series. And if you guys have been watching previous episodes, what have I been saying about Survivor Series?
That it's not your favorite of the big 4.
It is not. But guess what? Last night happened, and at least for this year, it outdid SummerSlam. So,
wow.
Yeah, I will give you that. I don't know if it topped WrestleMania. Not yet. And I don't think it will.
It's very hard to top WrestleMania, though.
Right, and Royal Rumble, too. I think Royal Rumble, out of all 4, is honestly my favorite. But Survivor Series, my favorite Survivor Series for my entire adult life, easily was last night. So,
to be fair, Survivor Series last night did a lot of things to address the concerns that you've always had about Survivor Series. The storylines were maintained and transitioned very well.
That's right.
The matches were solid, regardless of how strong or weak the storylines were. And we had some great returns and appearances, which we normally get at Royal Rumble or the night after WrestleMania. But this year's Survivor Series delivered.
I hear voices in my head. I hear voices in my head.
It's all about that legacy, baby.
I got to say, man. All right, let's get into it. But Punk's return was not the only huge moment. It was the biggest moment, obviously, being in Chicago. But Randy Orton's return, I loved how they did that as well. So let's get into it. Are you ready?
They talk to me.
They do talk to you. And we were planning on having our good friend Pratik on. He was at Survivor Series. Unfortunately, CM Punk's return was so epic, it took out the power in the entire Shy City. So if he does join us in the middle of this episode, that means the power is back. So if not, we will get you on, Pratik, on a very soon future episode. All right, let's get into it. Kickoff show was the kickoff show. Not really great.
Not really eventful. It's not even really worth talking about.
Not much.
It's just jump straight into it. The Women's War Games match.
Women's War Games match. I think grade-wise, out of the War Games, if I'm comparing it to previous War Games, and not just women's, all War Game matches, I wouldn't say it's top 3, but it was a solid B for me.
Well, out of all War Games matches, that's a tough one because there's some classic ones dating back to WCW.
That's fair.
But that being said, I think that this War Games match was a very good one. Not great, but very good. I felt like it could have done with a few more spots and highlighted a few more attributes of some of the female wrestlers, especially Damage Control,
right,
or the newly formed Damage Control. However, I did like the spot that Io Sky had with the trash can on the top of the cage.
That was great.
That's actually something I've never seen before. Someone putting a trash can over their body and taking a blind dive off a cage.
Think about it. Put yourself there. That is some scary shit to do. You don't know where your opponents are, right? To take care of you on that jump. So you got to really trust them. But very accurate jump. The other wrestlers did not have to move much.
No.
Yeah.
She did a great job. That's why I thought that was a great spot.
Yeah.
Also, Charlotte Flair.
Oh.
With the moonsault. The moonsault.
That's a homage to Kurt Angle, I want to say.
Yeah, definitely a homage to Kurt Angle because they actually execute it very similarly. You see the way that they twist in the air.
Yeah.
If you were to put a side by side, the way that they actually execute that moonsault it's almost uncanny how alike it looks like it is.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a tribute. But yes, that was also another great spot. Other than that, it was a solid match. It told the story well, but again, nothing too exciting.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that they made a big deal for some reason that Charlotte and Becky are now on bearing the hatchet, so we speak. But I have yet to put my faith into the fact that is actually the case. They probably will be fighting by tomorrow.
Right.
This is WWE, right?
Yeah. That's true. Incredible match. As you're describing Charlotte, a random trivia comes to my mind, and we're going to open it to the audience. And I don't know the answer to this. Maybe you do, or maybe Sheik does. But has there ever been a parent-child pair of wrestlers that have been in two competing companies at the same time?
Two competing companies at the same time.
At the same time. So Ric Flair.
While they're active wrestlers?
It could be personas, because my whole thing is right now Ric Flair just signed with AEW and Charlotte is killing it in WWE. So my whole thing was, has that happened before? I don't know.
I don't think so. The only thing that I could think of that might come close, and this was only because of a one-off, not because of a signing, but I think while Tully Blanchard was doing some one-offs, maybe Tessa Blanchard was wrestling somewhere.
Okay.
But I couldn't say that for sure, and it's definitely not on the major league level of two competing top two companies like Flair and Flair.
Right. And to be that, to be two walking goats like Ric Flair and Charlotte. So that's the other part of it. at the top of their
The only similarity is horseman and daughter.
Yeah.
That's where it stops.
Right. Oh, I know one. I'm marking out. Vince comes on WWE television in 2000 and
oh God, I know where you're going with this one.
and on 2001 with an announcement. I have purchased WCW. Nope, you haven't. Here comes the money. Shows up on Nitro. That to me was.
And that lasted for about one night.
Yeah, exactly. And then and then that led to none other than Invasion. So they did a lot of good. They did a lot more bad with that whole handling of that situation.
That's a whole other story, though.
Yeah.
Get into this. Let's see. What grade would you give this match?
I gave it a B. What did you give it?
I have to say I'm on the same page as you. It was a B.
It was a B.
To me, it was a B.
Yeah, it was a B. Our source right now on the breakdown of Survivor Series 220 War Games.
Wow.
Is they've given it an A.
They gave this match an A?
Right.
I mean, it was a good match. It wasn't a great match. I've seen a better female War Games match in NXT.
I would agree. Now, how they're grading it? This is Bleacher Report. This is their explanation of it. This was the appropriate feud closer. Okay, I get that. It was the end of the feud with Damage Control. Now, Damage Control, where they go from here, we don't know. There was a whole interview with Bayley afterwards. She was looking for her teammates, is what she said. I don't even know where to start, is what she said. I
have my theory on Damage Control, but we'll save that for down the road. So
for sure, yeah.
Maybe at the end if we have time.
Yeah. And it said with the finish that should propel the Damage Control story forward, presumably to the point where her teammates excommunicate Bayley from the group she founded. So psychologically, I guess, is how they gave it an A, maybe. But I'm not taking away from the amazing spots in the match and the showcasing of the amazing abilities.
I agree. It tied up the storyline very well, but I don't know if I could give this an A, but again, opinions.
And they're predicting that Bayley is going to become a babyface. So the underdog babyface, the old Bayley that used to be.
Oh God, please no.
No?
I don't want to see those air tube dolls again. If I see that, man, I'm gonna get really pissed.
Maybe they're going. Well, I think that was kind of heelish Bayley at that point. It was
the one with the air tube dolls when she first came in.
Oh, you're talking about yeah.
God,
I don't think they're going that far back. I think they're gonna go ding dong. I think that was like the fun Bayley that everybody liked. She wasn't a full blown heel yet in that moment.
You mean the one that looked like she should still be wearing diapers?
Yeah. Yes, that one.
I digress. Let's move on.
All right. Okay, cool. Oh, last little tidbit about the women's War Games match was that the heels entered with the different masks, creating a cool visual.
I did actually like that visual.
Yeah.
They were all wearing the kabuki masks.
Yes.
Yeah, they Bayley looked a little bit out of place doing it, but that was intentional, so I understand it.
Yeah, that was dope. I think visually, this Survivor Series, just pay-per-views, PLEs in general, I thought visually Triple H being behind the helms, no pun intended, it created a lot better visuals for the whole show.
The only thing that I will say that they took a step back with, in my opinion, but it's a small thing, they went back to Kairi Sane's pirate outfit.
I know.
Now, for this particular pay-per-view, it went well with the robes they were wearing. And thankfully, she's not wearing the same ring gear. It was darker. But please, let's get rid of the pirate gimmick. We all know that doesn't work, especially for a heel faction.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully they don't stick with that.
I liked her old outfit from last week. That was such a dope outfit.
I agree. I liked it too.
It was.
We talked about it.
The gear and the look was great.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see more.
She did that punch that you liked though with the trash can lid.
I did see that. Yeah, that was dope. Okay, moving on. IC Championship. They gave a plug to Chris Jericho. Did you pick up on that?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Chris Jericho, the only 9-time Intercontinental Champion.
that's right. And considering that he's been out of WWE for what, 4 years? Almost 4 years. It's quite a feat. Miz, 8-time champ.
Going for number 9.
Going for number 9 against
Gunther.
Yes. You start this one out. What did you think?
I really like this match.
Yeah.
This was one of the ones that was on the undercard that wasn't a War Games match that really got me vested. Even though the storyline leading up to it didn't have as much meat as I would normally like.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I've been saying since this podcast began and before. The Miz really knows how to bring the best out of driving storylines forward, even ones that you normally would not give two craps about.
Yep.
And we also got to see in this match the Miz showcase some of his repertoire that he normally does not use in other matches, dirty or otherwise, against Gunther, because he pushed them to that limit. And there was a point where they had you believing that the Miz really could pull this off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he fell short.
He did fall short. I didn't think he was going to win. I think they're really trying to push this IC run with Gunther for a while. I don't know when they're going to switch him out of that to then take him into the bigger heavyweight championship run. We shall see.
For now, I'm good with it, though.
I'm good
and
with
I'll
it.
tell you why. Because for the time being, Gunther has put on fabulous matches, competitive matches, no matter who he's been up against. Like, they're all exciting. We have not gotten bored yet.
Nope.
Like, he managed to bring out the best in a lot of people that we normally don't even see showcase their skills. Even comedy acts like, who was the guy that he went up against the Alpha Academy last time?
Yeah.
It was Chad Gable, yeah.
Shoosh!
Normally, you see the comedy side of Chad Gable, but when he went up against Gunther, that was serious
He
business.
showed you what he can do. Yeah, I think, and again, Chad Gable deserves a full run as one of these mid-card championships for now. He, I think, is the second coming, and that's being disrespectful to Chad Gable, but he's like the second coming of Kurt, and he can separate himself from Kurt once he gets the title.
As long as Gunther continues to put on matches that draw people's attention and get people excited, then I have no problem with him being champion, because it brings back legitimacy to the IC title, something it was severely lacking for a long time before Gunther got a hold of it.
Now, quick little opinion on this. Do you think he could become the next IC/world champ like they did with Warrior?
I don't know. I mean, if that happened, it will only happen for a night, because, as you know, even with Warrior, the kayfabe rule, unless they change it, is that he would have to forfeit the IC title as soon as he got
the
world
rule?
title. They made the Warrior do it.
I thought that's just because it was Warrior and he was a hothead.
Usually they've done it. I mean, didn't Shawn Michaels have to do that as well?
Was he dual champ too? Was he IC and world? I gotta look that up. But
I remember, even if he didn't do it, I remember that when they had the match with him and Brett, that was one of the stipulations, that if he won, he would have to give up the IC title. Yeah. I don't remember. I have to go all the way back into the annals. I'm not that big on it.
We also got to remember too. It's not being ran by the same captain anymore. So.
True. I'm saying if they change kayfabe, that could happen. But as far as I know, as far as the rules are as they stand, then they probably wouldn't do that. A lot of good action in this match, though.
Yeah, and what grade would you give it psychologically, for psychology, for technicality, storytelling, all of that?
I'm going to give this match an A.
Okay, wow.
It kept me engaged the entire time.
All right.
Both wrestlers performed really well.
Okay.
My only critique, again, was that the storyline going into this match wasn't as strong as it could have been, but that's kind of what makes me want even more out of it. Now, will they drive this forward more? I don't know. Is this just a one-off with Gunther and The Miz? Again, we'll find out going into Monday, but I would not be opposed to seeing this match again.
Yeah. I would like to see it again too. And I don't want them to end this Miz little babyface run. He doesn't get many of those throughout his career. So
well, it's not total babyface run.
Right.
He's kind of doing the MJF thing.
Yeah.
Because he was still doing his underhanded tactics, like taking off the post padding.
The difference is they are cheering it now instead of booing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like on the MJF anti-hero type deal. But again, they're going to make comparisons to this later on, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But like I said, I'm not opposed to seeing this again. I'm interested to see where it goes from here, if it's a one-off or a continuing feud.
Yeah. All right.
Your grade?
You gave it an A. I considering that I knew for a fact that Gunther was going to win, not because I'm Paul Heyman or anything. I don't give predictions or spoilers. I'm just thinking like it didn't make sense for Miz to win out of all of a sudden. It would have been shocking if he won. I'll give you that. But
I came to play.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't come to play yesterday. He came to fight. But I hate his theme song. That's a whole other thing. Let's.
Oh well, there's a lot of things to hate about the Miz.
Sometimes the theme song is what I hate most about the Miz. Like I feel like
that or the ring gear.
Oh well, it's obnoxious.
The ring gear is really obnoxious. The weird sleeveless shaped robe and the bandana, like. Even a wrestler, who does that? Who does that? But that's part of his obnoxious character, I guess.
X-Pac did that for a minute with the bandanas.
Not with that robe, though.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah, I'd say it was a great match, considering it wasn't as highlighted as it should have been, because it is a War Games themed pay-per-view, PLE. I'll eventually get that right. It's I would give it a solid B+. Solid B+. And again, the only reason I don't give it an A is because I knew that the result was going to be what it was. It was just the predictability of the match, the end result of the match.
Fair enough.
So that's it.
And it seems like Bleacher Report agreed with you.
Bleacher Report agreed with me.
Well, he gave it a B+.
Yeah, we both gave it a B+.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that. Okay, moving on. Okay, so this next match ended up being Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. Now, if you've been following the program, it had been a spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. Carlito was supposed to be Santos Escobar's opponent. Now, they worked in an injury with Carlito.
That's not cool.
That's not cool. Yeah. He tore out his shoulder biting an apple, apparently. No. So he had a shoulder injury, and like and they announced this on the kickoff that it's now changed over, or was it on SmackDown?
Oh, they announced it on SmackDown.
On SmackDown.
That's why Dragon Lee demanded the match on SmackDown.
That's right, I remember now. Yep.
However, and I'll say this, I don't mind them replacing it because for some reason I envisioned that this is going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
However, the way that Carlito got injured was ridiculous. Like, I didn't understand it. Like, the guy goes, he knees him in the back, and he falls on his arm, and now he's got, like, a forearm injury.
Yeah.
I didn't like the execution of that. Other than that, I mean, like, I'm not totally mad about Dragon Lee replacing him. I'm sure that maybe there is some sort of backstage reasoning that we don't know about that.
So I did read about this because I was curious, because I knew it was work, the injury to Carlito.
Right.
So I read about the possibility that they're working on extending this feud because they want Ray to be involved because he was the center point of it all. And Ray has a legit knee surgery coming up that's going to keep him out of action for about a couple months. So I think I read it right that it was 2 months and not 2
I
months.
hope the surgery went badly and you get an infection.
wait, who was that?
I think Santos Escobar said something along those lines.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Not verbatim, but
Right.
like that's what he said.
Yeah, right. I do remember. I was like, I know I heard that. So I think they're extending this program to become a 3-way match with Ray involved at some point. Carlito, I don't know where he fits in with all this. Maybe Carlito turns. That could be an interesting way to get Carlito to turn, because he didn't actually fight Escobar. Maybe this was all a bigger plan. We shall see. I really like Escobar as a heel, and I think he has a lot that he can achieve as a bad guy.
Maybe. I'm also interested to see where they are going to take the 2 other members of the LWO in this feud.
Jesus Christ, don't get me started on those guys.
You know, one of them is Zema Ion.
I know.
DJ Z from Impact Graveyard Wrestling.
TNA. Yeah, I know. And then he got like 400 injuries.
He had one line on SmackDown last week, and then he got clocked. Sounds like the same old DJ Z. That being said,
and he's I believe he's Filipino.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Filipinos do have some Latino in them.
They have
are
some,
a mixture, so
to hear podcasts about invasions,
press 1.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with that. It's weak, and I'm putting that mildly though.
Storyline wise, it is kind of weak. However, that's why I'm actually being a little bit generous with this match.
Yeah.
Because considering the fact that its storyline was really weak, and I was expecting Carlito, and I was expecting more from this, Dragon Lee made me forget about it.
Yeah, of course.
Because Dragon Lee is just phenomenal in that ring.
Right.
That might be the second coming of Mysterio.
Rey
Mysterio, not Dominic.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, Dominic is the second coming. It was
Dominic is busy getting pegged right now by Mommy.
Yes, that was in the after show.
Mommy was taking a page out of CM Punk's book and saying it's clobbering time.
Yeah, Dominic is trying to survive that series right now. All right, enough with the puns. Yeah, Escobar wins this match.
He had a really, really good, I know they called it something else during the match, but he pulled off a really good Canadian Destroyer in the match to set up his finisher.
Yeah, he did.
Dragon Lee also sold it very well with him being stunned, but it actually looked realistic.
Yeah.
It looked like he really was out on his feet and not exaggerated like we were talking about a la MJF last week. That's how you sell a move.
Yeah.
That, I know they called it something else, but, I mean, it's normally a Canadian Destroyer. He pulled that off really well, and then leading up to his finisher.
They called it a Destroyer. They delivered a Destroyer, it says here. And the Phantom Driver for the win. So that's how they got the...
I enjoyed watching this match. A lot of action in it, a lot of spots. Ultimately, though, it made me kind of forgive the fact that the storyline was weak. Yeah, I'll give it a B-.
B-, yeah. I think I agree with you. I also want to give it a B-. This is probably the lowest grade I'll give on this entire PLE. But, yeah, it's just, I think it left people not asking questions after this match. And I think that's how I measure my storylines, is that after the big payoff, which is a pay-per-view or PLE, do I ask more questions, right? And I did with War Games. What's going to happen, or with the first War Games match? What's going to happen with Damage Control? That was the biggest question. So that kept the appeal. With Miz and Gunther, are they going to continue? Where is this going? That was the question we just discussed. We asked.
Right.
I don't have any questions on this. It's just like, is Ray okay? And that has nothing to do with the storyline.
Well, you're asking where it's going to go next, but you're not asking in a way that's kind of implied that you do, and you just want to see if it happens.
Yeah.
You really are genuinely asking, where is this going to go? Is Carlito coming back?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a turn?
There's too many options.
There's a lot of options. It's not like one ended where you know what's going to happen. You're just asking how.
Yeah, there's no excitement, I guess is the word. And what I am excited about, like I said earlier, is Escobar's heel run and how well WWE pushes that. Right?
And that's the best part about this match. It made both of these competitors look really strong.
Yeah.
And these two are competitors that the WWE does plan to push moving forward in the future. So it does give them room for growth and for the fans to continue to get behind them, because I believe that Escobar and Dragon Lee already have strong fan bases. This just gives them more of a reason to get vested into their characters.
Yeah, totally.
Which is something that we're going to get into in this next match.
That's right. So just if you're keeping score, Bleacher Report has given it a solid B. They
were slightly more generous.
They're slightly more generous.
Slightly.
Yeah. Right in the middle. All right. You and I have been talking about Zoe Stark for a month or so now, about how I like her as a wrestler, and I think she deserves a push and she should get some shine. She did in the last PLE. At Crown Jewel, she got a really good push. They really put the spotlight on her, and she got the payoff here at Survivor Series. She got a one-on-one Women's World Championship match against Mommy. And I thought, we'll hear your take on this, but I thought she held her own. What do you agree or disagree?
Well, before I even get into that, Mommy came out with another hairstyle again.
She's getting crazier with the hair. Like every PLE.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it for the sole fact that it keeps things interesting, and it really allows her character to shine in different ways. Aside from just the standard psychology and obviously her phenomenal in-ring work. Yeah. That said, now going to this match, Zoe Stark's biggest issue is not her in-ring talent. Uh-oh. It's the fact that she has very little behind her character. I did feel like they gave her moments to shine in this match. They didn't just bury her. They've actually done a good job since that one squash match that she had with Nia Jax of redeeming her, being that ferocious, fighting, undersized underdog in regards to most of the people that she's been wrestling.
Yeah.
Again, it's really hard, though, to get invested in Zoe.
Yeah.
Because... And she got booed during a good portion of this match.
Yeah.
I don't think it was rightfully deserved. But I think that just speaks to the fact that they need to do something to kind of add some intrigue to her character. We know the girl can wrestle. We know she's a good worker. But she's kind of been left to fend for herself out in the wilderness of World Wrestling Entertainment ever since her breakup with Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
And I think that's her issue. I think now, can that be corrected? Absolutely. Because I feel at one point, all Mommy was in NXT was kind of just like this big badass without any depth to her character.
Yeah.
Can they fix that problem? Yes. Did they give her a chance to do that in this match? In terms of like redeeming herself wrestling wise and giving people a reason to maybe, change their opinion on Zoe. I think that she was given ample chance in this match. Whether or not they succeeded, we'll soon find out. Curious to see how her character develops. But Mommy wins again. Yeah. And the crowd is just so behind this.
Yeah, they have to ride that. They have to ride that. She is on another level right now. To comment on Zoe, I compare it to comedy career and finding your voice as a comic. It's very similar, I think, with Zoe right now. Zoe is, you can see it in her face. She loves what she's doing.
Yes.
She really wants to be here.
No question.
She wants it badly, and that's what makes me want to cheer for her, because I know in the comedy world it's the same idea. People who want to be there, they'll struggle to figure out, okay, what's my lane? Because you're doing a million things that you're trying to figure out as you're also finding your lane. But she will find it, and I feel like when she does, that's when we get to the sweet spot of Zoe Stark. Now, what is that? Like you asked, I don't know. And I think that is the question I ask about.
I agree. I think the WWE as a company agrees too, because they even implied that in the promo going into this event, Mommy compared her to herself. Yeah. Like I was just doing earlier unintentionally. I wasn't even thinking about that. But as I was sitting here thinking about it, Mommy even did this. She said, "You remind me of myself." And that's the case.
Yeah.
Mommy was always a badass wrestler that could go and perform, but somewhere along the line, she actually developed her own voice. She wasn't just a badass anymore. Now she had her own personality, character, and charisma. That's what Zoe needs to get to the next level.
Yeah.
That being said, it was a solid match. Again, like this pay-per-view didn't have any filler. No. It was solid.
That's true.
Everything was solid to good.
Yes.
Nothing was phenomenal,
right.
but it wasn't a pay-per-view or a premium live event where I sit down and say, oh, why am I watching this match? That's the impressive thing about this year's Survivor Series, that from top to bottom, I feel like it did its job. That being said, grade for this, I'll give it a B-, only because I don't feel that they did enough. And I hold both of them responsible for this. Not solely on Zoe.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with the pull that Rhea Ripley has, she should have carried this match a little bit more to generate a little bit more buzz and give that little rub to her opponent. But, it's easier said than done. I'm only explaining why I'm giving the grade to it. I still think the B- was considering the build up to this match and, it being Zoe's first time in a main event, I think it's a fair grade to give it.
Score, okay. I kind of agree with you. I feel like Rhea during this match, I feel like her mind, like the audience was also in the back of her mind was like, the next match is where she was supposed to like come in and do all the things that she was going to do.
I see that.
You know,
in the beginning, it was a little slow.
Yeah.
Then she woke up. She's like,
yeah, no, let me make this match be more special. So I'm going to be a little more generous. I'm going to give it a B, and only because the reason I give it a B and not a B- is because I think that Zoe, despite some of the shortcomings in her character and all that, it leaves me wanting to know where they're going. Like right now, if they put Zoe back on the back of the line, and as far as title picture is concerned, I would be upset because I don't think she deserves to be pushed back right now. I get it from the standpoint of she's still in her rookie year, and that she still has to pay some dues on that a main roster. So if they're going to do that, I hope that she's still getting the spotlight enough where they're still building her character. And that is really where my B comes from.
That actually brings up a question that I'm going to ask at the end of the show. I'm going to pose it to you and the fans and the viewers, so forth. I'll let it wait because we still got a few things to talk about, but I think it's a fairly good question.
I'm eager to hear it. All right, it's the main event.
The men's War Games match.
Men's War Games match. A little Easter egg. Not really an Easter egg. Team Cody. I don't even know if that's what they called it. Team Rhodes or not. But this is his father's legacy. No, that's not a pun.
Yeah, I think that his dad was the one that was responsible for the creation of War Games.
That's right. So he mentions this in the press conference after this Survivor Series. So to me, that was kind of special because he got to be in his first War Games and he's paying homage to his father.
Right. Leading up to this match, it was also notable that for the match, in the beginning, it was teased that Randy Orton was not in the building, and there was questions about whether he would show up.
Yes, there were several backstage segments between the members of Team Rhodes. I'm just going to call it Team Rhodes. Between Jay, Seth, Sammy. They're all kind of concerned as to where...
Jay blamed himself.
Yeah.
He's like, he's not going to show up because of me.
Right. Jay blamed himself because of their backstory to the whole thing. Very well done. I thought that was all very well done. I didn't believe for a second he's not showing up. However, the audience in Chicago thought this is a tease.
But it was believable. It tied into storyline reasons.
Yeah.
Again, an example of how a good storyline progresses and uses its threads to tie everything together. Yeah. Not like the MJF storyline last week.
Yeah.
Yes, I have to keep poking fun at that because I am an MJF fan, so I'm not going to let him slide with that.
Fair enough.
WWE.
No, it's fine.
That's my bad.
No, you're good. It's all wrestling. So, yeah, I think they did that masterfully. The audience at Allstate Arena, as soon as this question started to spread throughout the show, a lot of little pockets in the arena chanting for CM Punk to be the 5th member. But I think the bigger want was still Randy to be the 5th member because they hyped him out perfectly on Raw. The hinting of when Cody mentioned the legacy, mentioned the Apex Predator, and the audience and the fans ate that all up. So you knew he had to come back. Something we haven't mentioned, R-Truth is back. R-Truth came back and brought to you by Ruffles chips. They weren't chips, they weren't crisps, they were Ruffles. That kind of happened, a little fun moment.
Hey, Triple H was very excited about that moment.
That's right, he was.
He raved about it at the press conference.
That's right.
That was the biggest comeback of the evening.
Yeah.
R-Truth is back.
I loved it.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
You can get with this, and you can get with that, and you can get with this, because this is where it's at. What's up?
What's up? What's up? R-Truth is amazing, man. He needs towards the end of his career, just give him a title run, even if it's like one month. He deserves it, man. He's been a consummate professional, hilarious, great wrestler, and he's got bars. He can do it all.
And he survived Graveyard Impact Wrestling.
R-Truth.
He was his champion.
What was his name over there?
His name was Ron the Truth Killings.
Ron the Truth Killings. Yeah. Anyway, so we get to the match. Judgment Day appears. Drew McIntyre is on their team.
And they did a really interesting job of having him stare off with they had to stare off with Damian Priest.
Yeah.
They were staring.
So what that did for me is, where's that story going between those two guys? So that was, again, beautiful storytelling within another story of setting something else up, hinting at something. That's poetic, and that's what I always look for, and I think you do as well. In our stories.
And guess who started the match off for the Judgment Day? It was the Chihuahua, the little Chihuahua.
Yeah,
Nick Donna
started it off. I don't think that's a surprise, though. I feel like he is the 5th least important member of not.
Actually, I don't think he started. It was Finn Balor, wasn't it? It was Finn Balor. Yes, right. It was. And then it was Finn Balor, and then
sure.
Seth Rollins started off with the dive against Finn Balor.
Right.
But still, they sent in the Chihuahua afterwards.
That's it.
I see. God,
actually,
man.
The second spot is the least important spot, I would say, than the first. The first spot is exciting. Everyone's waiting for this match. So, yeah, Finn and Seth, they hinted at their rivalry from their program they had a month ago.
Yeah, that was good.
Then
the Chihuahua came in, and well, it's okay. Because the Chihuahua got what was coming to him.
Yeah. This was
spot of the night, by the way.
Yeah. This was a great match. By the way, no Randy Orton at the start of this. The official match doesn't start, obviously, till the 5th member is there, right? All the members come in from both teams. It's 4v5 at this point. Now here comes Mommy to cash in.
With the attempted cash.
To cash in for Damian Priest, because Seth freaking Rollins just went through a table, I believe. I believe he had just gotten a big. He had a big
He
spot.
had taken a very big bump.
Big bump. So here comes mommy trying to
then,
cash in, and then
I hear voices in my head. They come to me. They understand. They talk to me.
Yeah. Man, is he in great shape? He was looking like $1 million.
He looked like something they created in Creator Wrestler mode in a video game. He literally looked cut up. He was he was in great
he's
shape.
really in great shape.
The prototype, no pun intended against Cena, but yeah, the true prototype of what you would want your build a wrestler to look like.
That's so true. That's so true. He came in and he didn't disappoint. He got all of his spots in. He got Finn with, he beat the shit out of Dominic, which we all love.
Yeah, that was
it was
God,
so
yes.
good.
I can't even express how happy I am through my words because that was so great. But what I loved even more is JD McDonough, the little stupid chihuahua, got the RKO from him falling off the cage. That was so beautiful.
Yeah,
beautifully done.
They threw him from Dublin. That's how far. that was a very. You knew it was coming too, but you were still wanting to see it
because everybody hates JD McDonough.
That's true, but RKOs have gotten a life of their own now. Like they got RKOs is where is it going to pop up from when you least expected. This wasn't that. We all knew what was coming when they all had him on top of the cage.
Yeah, but you've got to understand from that height, the timing that it takes to execute it
to
and
not
make
hurt
it look
them
good and look good and not hurt them, like you said. It was impressive. You wanted to see how well he would pull it off,
and he pulled it off.
And, oh God, that was flawless. And I'm so glad that JD McDonough was the one that caught it.
Is that the best RKO you've seen?
No, I still think the best RKO I ever saw was the one that he did on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania
31 in San Francisco. He did that.
But that's pretty close. It's pretty close.
It is pretty close. It is pretty close. Yeah, they did that.
Yeah.
No sight of him, by the way, at Survivor Series. But
dummy.
No sight of Roman. You know what's good about WWE's writing is they're very good at making you pause your mind on these other major stars that have just had major programs.
They have to. Look at how many people are on the collective 3 rosters. You have to be able to do that in order to be able to drive forward storylines and give everybody a chance to have a spot on these programs.
No, you're absolutely. I'm just saying though, they do it really well.
They've gotten better at it. Let's just say that, because for a while they were pretty bad.
I'll tell you what, I never thought about where is the Bloodline. I never thought about where is LA Knight, right? But I will be thinking about them this week as Raw and SmackDown come back. So dummy.
I have my own thoughts on that too, because I know exactly what LA Knight's doing.
Oh, okay.
Just not. Don't get me frustrated right now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I just want to focus on this and the big news afterwards.
The big news. So they take the win. Team Rhodes wins. They beat Judgment Day. And
there was that spot in the match too where Jay and Randy had their stare off.
Yes, they did.
And then Jay saves them with the super kick.
The super kick, yep.
And then Randy gets his he did the RKO on him, right?
Not on Jay.
No, not on Jay.
No, on Dominic.
It
was on Dominic, yep.
Yeah, so they saved each other from each other rushes.
That's right.
And then towards the end of the match, they kind of had to understand. They didn't really shake hands.
Yeah.
It leaves a tease on whether or not he'll turn heel or not, but I like that. It's cool. It makes you question
That's it.
Randy's motives.
Another layer inside this bigger storyline, which was masterfully done.
So they're all there holding hands, celebrating,
and celebration done because
yeah.
CM Punk returns, and most of the wrestling fans watching this already know the backstory of all of this, and he was last seen in August at All In with the win over Samoa Joe in AEW. He got in a fight. He's gone. He's fired from AEW. 10 days prior to Survivor Series, he signed his contract with Triple H and WWE. And it was a secret that only Triple H knew about, and the other Khan, Nick Khan. Those two were the only ones in the know that CM Punk had re-signed with WWE.
They conned the audience and the universe. No pun intended.
They don't, and now there's a whole thing about this that we want to get into. Obviously, Punk returns. He doesn't do any spots or anything. He just takes it in with the crowd. The Chicago crowd loves it.
Does the clobbering time
halfway, and the audience finished it. He just hinted at it. He hugs the audience, kind of similar to when he came back at United Center.
Some guy went nuts behind him saying, Chicago!
Yeah, Chicago. He was kind of monotone about it. I'm kind of like, yo, show some more, enthusiasm. But anyway, it was fun. I liked that. It was great. Some of us thought it wouldn't happen.
But not everybody was happy to see him.
That's right. So that's why I mentioned what I mentioned. And that was that.
So they cut the program off the air.
But Seth Rollins, visibly pissed, cursing at,
and he flipped him off
in the direction of CM Punk and giving him the finger. Randy, meanwhile, in the ring, waving at CM Punk.
Typical Randy Orton.
He's
an instigator backstage, so it does not surprise me.
And I think. Obviously, I think the Seth thing is a work. Maybe it's a work shoot.
I think it's a work. I really think it's a work.
So
I could be wrong,
but this is where I feel it's a work, but it happened in the moment, as in the referees fed Seth the angle to do that. Here's where I think it was going to be a shoot, and that is the fact that. And if you caught it right after the match and CM Punk's music hitting, not many are talking about this. Drew McIntyre was angry and he left. Not just left the ringside. Rumor has it he grabbed his coat and suitcase and he left the arena. Like, he was shoot level angry. And
could also have to do with the fact of it not being a shoot and him being mad that his alliance with Judgment Day didn't go very well.
But for him to leave the arena, I think that breaks that fourth wall. And there was no camera footage to catch it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So,
we don't know if he actually left the arena.
Well,
those are reports from the
dirt sheets. Yeah. So if it is true, people they don't know why it happened, and they're assuming that it's because Punk came to WWE. So.
My only question in regards to that is, what kind of history does Drew McIntyre have with Punk that would lead him to do that?
That is a very fair question. I don't even think they've had many programs with each other.
No.
When Punk was on the rise in WWE, McIntyre was already fired, and he was in TNA.
Well, I think they were there for a while, but
in 05, 06.
They didn't cross paths.
Yeah.
They were really... At that point, McIntyre wasn't even being pushed as a star. Yeah. He was at 3MB.
He was the chosen one before he left. Yeah. But so there is a calculated guess that it is because Punk came back. We'll find out where that leads to. The bigger story is Seth Rollins flicking off Punk. We already knew that Seth had some shoot interviews before Punk was even in WWE's mind to bring him back. So we know there's some real history there between Seth. So this is where I think it is a work, and I think it was communicated right after Punk's music hit. And to me, Seth handled that very well. And I think part of that is because it was organic. He just went in and I would love...
Again, I do think it's a work. But part of me also believes that aside from it being a work, Seth Rollins is not fun of seeing Punk in real life.
No, he's not. And
that's what made it believable.
It's not to the level of Brett and Shawn Michaels' hatred for each other. But I think it is maybe on the entry level of that. And I hope that they allow that to affect the storyline in a good way. kind of like Matt Hardy Edge circa 2009, 2010, when the whole Lita fiasco happened. So I think that is where it is. Just like Matt and Edge was a work, no one believed that it was at the time. We thought it was a real fight when he came into the arena. So CM Punk is back. There is a lot of questions about who is he going to feud with. He's scheduled to appear on Raw tomorrow night. He's also rumored to be a free agent, meaning he can appear on NXT and SmackDown as well. So kind of the Brock Lesnar deal. It's funny because one of the biggest things that led to Punk not wanting to be in WWE any longer was the fact that Brock would get all of that, everything that he was asking for was going to Brock Lesnar. So now he's getting what he's asking for. So let's see where that goes. But what are your thoughts, CM Punk, WWE?
Happy to see him just back in the world of professional wrestling. Big CM Punk fan, always have been. Mm-hmm. Hasn't given me any reason not to be in the future.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's able to continue his legacy and that it wasn't short-lived just for his tenure in AEW. Looking forward to what the future has for him. And I'm pretty sure as the weeks go by on this podcast, we're going to be doing a lot of talking and a lot of theorizing about where CM Punk's future lies with the company. But for right now, I just want to savor the moment and appreciate the fact that CM Punk is back in the WWE. Something that we, at one point, legitimately thought we'd never see.
We'd never see again, that's right. Especially with his promos in AEW. He claimed that he had left wrestling in 2005. That was at the end of his ROH run. So, my thing about Punk being in WWE, it was great. I was cautiously pessimistic because I wanted him to be in AEW. Now, it's okay. I'm willing to forget his AEW potentials if they do go hardcore with this Seth Rollins angle, and if they get Seth Rollins away from this bullshit gimmick.
You and I have been in agreement on this for a really long time.
I want Seth to be...
At least Seth can't walk around the entire going...
Yeah, right, exactly. If the Seth we saw post Survivor Series flicking off Punk, bring that Seth Rollins. Bring the Seth Rollins that turned his back on the Shield Seth Rollins.
Bring it.
Yeah, just bring it, jabronis. Yeah. Yeah, but there's also an angle with Cody Rhodes. There's a lot that he can do. There's a lot of programs that he has not had that he could have. Shinsuke, a lot of people aren't talking about that, but I think him and Shinsuke could tear it down.
There's also the potential, and I'm not saying it'll happen, there's also the potential that they could do the long-term swerve, and Paul Heyman could become his advocate again and get rid of Roman.
At WrestleMania?
It's possible, but again, these are all just theories. We don't even know what direction he's heading.
It's fun to talk about,
yeah.
and it's fun to speculate, but that's all it is. It's speculation. As you guys know,
just leave LA Knight alone.
Leave LA Knight alone.
For now.
That's another angle. Anyway, there's a lot. There's a lot that
I don't like LA Knight's current angle.
I know.
They keep bringing him back to. That's what I want to say. I can't stand the fact that I don't mind. I think that he has great chemistry with KO.
Yeah.
They're really funny.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why both KO and LA Knight need to be in a damn angle with these two bozos.
Yeah.
Grayson Waller and his friend Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Who can't get a rope from anybody.
But that's typical. Every time a singles push goes to the world title scene and they end up not winning, usually the next storyline is a tag team run.
Why do you think I was so against this damn LA Knight loss?
I know.
But God, it hurts when I'm right.
I know. It is okay. It's true. It's damn true. But let's button it up. I want to talk about one last thing CM Punk related, and that is this. Many people are talking about this before CM Punk's debut or return to WWE. Survivor Series was happening on Saturday. Over on the other side, AEW Collision was also happening live. That was CM Punk's show, by the way, for those who remember. You get Malachi Black cutting a promo on FTR saying you don't have this guy, that guy, and CM Punk. So his name is being mentioned on AEW television, which made that audience start chanting CM Punk. And I'm just like, did Tony Khan approve of that? A, because he will not mention ex-AEW wrestlers, especially if they're going to WWE. I'm just wondering, and I'm romanticizing this, but is there a universe, pun intended, where Punk can appear on both?
One can only dream.
One can only dream.
I will say this, though. Stupid move on Tony Khan's part for allowing that to happen. Also, stupid move on Tony Khan's part to think that announcing Will Ospreay's contract signing was going to somehow dampen the impact of CM Punk coming over to WWE, because we talked about that on the last podcast, and now we can see what has transpired.
Yeah.
There was legitimacy to my theory on that. I'm not happy about that. But, that's Tony Khan. He's still a young owner. He'll learn. That being said, I thought waiting till the very end of Survivor Series to unveil CM Punk and not having him do much was probably the best move they could have probably made, because had they done anything before, there would have been chants all throughout the arena during matches, taking away from matches with CM Punk. They only did it once throughout the night during one of the matches.
Yeah.
And it didn't take away too much. I know it slightly took away, and I know you and I are both not fans of it, slightly took away from the Orton return, but at least Orton was allowed to have his time. CM Punk didn't come before and then totally overshadow it. Orton had his moment, he had a celebration, and then it was the CM Punk announcement.
It had to be that way, though, because no one knew about it. If he came,
it had to be if your company representatives and owners and whoever writes your storylines are smart. Yeah. Which they handled it well.
They did. Now here's the here's the backlash of all of this. CM Punk, again, as I mentioned earlier, only Nick Khan and Triple H knew about it. So they actually kept it a secret for the last 10 days.
I see where you're going.
All the way through the show.
The locker room.
The locker room. So this was part of the thing that they're speculating that Drew McIntyre was mad about. And that is the fact that it tested the trust between the workers and the boss. So
I'm just upset that we didn't get the ice cream bars. I mean, R-Truth's going to give us chips. CM Punk, I'm expecting the ice cream bars again.
He's back.
Where are they at?
He's back. He's got a whole lot of contract money coming in to invest in ice cream bars.
Yeah. I got one last question for you.
And you had the question earlier you wanted to ask.
That's the one.
Okay, ask it.
This is just separately, but I was thinking to myself, the women's division has gotten a whole lot better, and there are a lot more women in the division now.
Yeah.
If you include all the talent in NXT.
Yeah.
The NXT title doesn't really mean much these days. Would it be better if they just came up with a mid-card title for the women instead?
Yeah.
And had it promoted and defended across all three promotions? Question to the audience. You can like, comment, subscribe. Give us your thoughts on that.
That's a great question.
Just thought it was a fair question.
Reduce the number of titles and then have them defend.
Give them a mid-card title to fight over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Instead of reduce the amount of main titles and give them a mid-card. Like the men do.
Yeah. Which the stupidest thing WWE did is create a second world title, and I was against that. I understand that because of Roman Reigns' special circumstances and they don't want him to lose it, it's gonna be I'm getting distracted because Pratik is now back. He's got power back. CM Punk is allowing Chicago to have power and ice cream bars soon. I'm going to set that up. Maybe we just get him in for a little bit to give his take from being at Survivor Series live.
Yeah, we can end the show on that.
Yeah,
note,
yeah.
Get a live perspective.
Exactly.
While you hook that up.
But yeah, my point on that is, yes, that would be great. I agree with you. The NXT title, having a mid-card title.
Or at least keep the NXT title, but make it an actual mid-card title. Because there's no reason for the minor league show to have a world title.
Absolutely, yeah.
That being said, while you hook that up, all for you watching at home, I know you're taking care of Adam Cole, baby. But Britt, please come on the show. We love you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So as we are wrapping up our thoughts on Survivor Series, it's only fitting to hear from a Chicago avid wrestling fan, and we can see.
Not only that, he's a huge CM Punk fan.
He's also a huge CM Punk fan. That's right. That's right. And we get to hear from someone who was at Survivor Series, and he's a former roommate of mine, and he's also a hilarious comic himself. So he's getting ready to join as we're waiting for him to join the episode to give us his take from inside Allstate Arena, which he sent me pictures of, that he had pictures up close, zoomed in, of course, from the Punk. Pratik, let's just talk about him for a second. Pratik he's a wrestling fan that has goals every year to hit the major 4 pay-per-views every year. So he tries to hit them, the PLEs. So, he's jumping on now to talk about just that. And it looks like he did it again this year. He got to fit it in November, Thanksgiving weekend with Survivor Series. He was at SummerSlam.
That's dedication.
That is dedication. And I hope to get to the level of comedy where he's at that I can afford that. So that
Likewise.
is, yes, absolutely.
Except, hip hop. But
yeah, hip hop. Yeah, 100%. He was at Survivor Series Allstate Arena. I'm curious to hear his thoughts on it. So we're gonna get him on now, and so I'm actually messaging him as we speak. He had lost power at about an hour before we go live on this episode. He had DM'd me that his town in Chicago had lost power, and I guess they just got it back on. So maybe he can shine some light on that as well. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Shine some light.
Need some deep dish.
Oh my God, Chicago style pizza, amazing. Beautiful. I have one down the street from me. All right. We got Pratik joining us now. Now we can actually. This matters. Now what you say, because
now TKO is listening. Perfect.
yeah. So Pratik is here. I forgot to hit the record button because I'm a jabroni. It's at Pratik Comedy.
Yeah.
Follow him on Instagram.
Fuck you! Why you messed the fucking audio up, you stupid jabroni maniac!
This is your podcast, Sheik. I'm just a piece of shit mark.
Fuck you! You don't listen to the legend.
I'm the mark for CM Punk. Okay, I'm sorry. I got excited.
Put the respect on the legend.
I disrespected 2 people in one lack of recording. But now we are live. So you were just talking about hitting the big 4. Your bank account suffering from it, but it's all worth it. It's and you always wanted to do that.
And I do want to shout out a few people, some PR friends, a good friend, Kevin Kellum. Like, there was some help. John Ledley. I did have some assistance this year. I went to the Big 4 this year. I also did go to AEW's All Out. I did try to balance out and go to one AEW show this year. But yeah, it was something I wanted to do, the Big 4. I'm not counting Money in the Bank. I count the classic Big 4.
Yes.
Royal Rumble. And the other thing was I did stand-up in the city where the Big 4 was happening as well.
That's awesome.
In the weekend of the paper. So Royal Rumble was in San Antonio. We did a show at Blind Tiger, great venue, Tunvia Aurora. WrestleMania was in Los Angeles. I did comedy in English and a show at Oino Vino. And then SummerSlam was in Detroit. I did Detroit Shipping Company 312 Comedy on Sunday. And then this year in Chicago for Survivor Series, we did We did Bye Bye Liver, and we did Lincoln Lodge the night before. And I also got to see the Nemeth brothers, Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth, perform at the Lincoln Lodge as well. They were doing stand up, and he had to go by Nick Nemeth now. He can't go by. You cannot call him Dolph Ziggler.
That's right. That's cool. Yeah. So is he?
And guess who the special guest was? Hornswoggle. He showed up as well.
God,
Hornswoggle did stand up.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
If you want, actually, yeah, I have the T-shirt from the event. If you want to see that, I'll grab that real quick.
Yeah. Grab the T-shirt. That's cool, man. Hornswoggle, he does stand up.
Hornswoggle does stand up.
Yeah, but he really has to stand up to do it. But because he's not gifted.
We have the Hunkamania Holiday Tour. Everybody, look at
that. Amazing, man. Love it.
Yeah, CM Punk is not a fan of that.
CM Punk is not a fan of that. Okay. Speaking of which, you first of all give us your overall take on Survivor Series pre CM Punk return. How was
CM Punk returning? I personally think it was a great card, regardless of whether or not Punk would have shown up. I think it was a great card, top to bottom.
Okay, yeah, we would.
I thought the women's match, much like last year, the women's match opened the show, which I think is wise. You kind of want to start off with something strong. I've noticed the Royal Rumble and the War Games pay-per-views, they start off with either one of the either or. This year, the Royal Rumble opened up with the men's Royal Rumble. But they didn't end with the women's. They did the whole Roman Reigns thing at the end.
Yeah,
which made sense because it was a dissolution of the bloodline. But yeah, I think starting with the name match up top, I think that's great, and the women did a great job. Again, Io Sky taking that bump with the trash can. That's still.
Oh my God! Yeah. That was his favorite moment in that match as well. So
absolutely amazing.
Top two spot of the night.
For sure.
Absolutely. It was great.
Yeah.
Next to the RKO.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, those RKOs.
the RKO off the top to McDonough.
He hates McDonough. He doesn't like.
I call him a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
He does look like a Chihuahua. Actually, he showed up at the They do a WWE Superstore in every city, like surrounding the pay-per-view. And guess who was at the signing today? Chihuahuas.
He was there. Okay. Nice.
He's a tiny boy. He is as tall as the table that you guys use. He's a minuscule. He's a little boy. But good on all the heels for selling. It was wild. In the arena, I'm sure. I don't know how much of this was captured on Peacock, but the arena was chanting for tables. And when each of the heels would not pull out the table, they would get more and more.
We did hear that. We did hear that. Get the tables. We did hear that.
But I was chanting for the chain. I thought the chain spot was really good when they brought the chain out. I thought Charlotte did. She did one of her
the Kurt Angle homage to the from the top of the cage. Yeah, that was we discussed that. That was amazing. And we also discussed, and maybe you have a good take on this. Parent-child duo being in competing companies at the same time.
Exactly.
So we were wondering if there was another one. He was talking about the Blanchards, possibly. But anyway, that was a fun little trivia for the fans, audience watching.
Woo!
Yeah.
Because Rick has been in his fair share of War Games cages as well. So it's very interesting that you had two, legacy talents going into events that their father were kind of famous for.
Right.
Yes, Dusty Rhodes created it, but Ric Flair, the Horsemen were synonymous.
That's right.
With the War Games.
Well, I was referring to more specifically just like the child being Charlotte in WWE killing it, and then her father being in AEW. So I'm saying like at the same.
You're talking about that competition.
Yeah,
as well,
at the same time. But anyway, you make a great point as well. Yeah, it's Cody and Dusty, and then you got Charlotte and Rick.
And Rick is more. I mean, I think he's more there for this. I don't think he's like, hey, this is a big signing for AEW. He's there more in a enhancement town, not enhancement town like a squash match, but he's there more as a figure involved in the storyline for Sting.
Right.
And it makes sense.
Another one for like trivia, just trivia.
Yeah,
unrelated to the pay-per-view. What about Rikishi and the Usos?
Oh, Has Rikishi? I don't think
Rikishi was in TNA at one point while the Usos were in the WWE.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, is that true? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, he loves TNA.
Oh yeah. Impact Graveyard Wrestling.
It's back.
It's back. I know. We did a whole episode on it, and well, TNA and AEW love to shoot their shots early. It seems because TNA is back, and then they're like, but wait, we're actually still Impact, and then Tony bringing Will Ospreay back, but. Hear me out, bruv. Hear me out.
Bruv.
I'm not actually back yet.
I'm going to finish.
There was a rumor that
over there in New Japan, but I'm going to give you my best when I come back, bruv.
Yeah. Well, what was the rumor?
And he's not. He still has to finish out his run with New Japan. I believe he's going to be in Wrestle Kingdom.
There you go. Yeah. So, from within the arena, the chants, we did hear it. Now, I don't know. I'm sure you heard about this. We were just mentioning this, but I'll catch you up real quick. AEW Collision was happening simultaneously
at the same time. Yes, Saturday night,
right? And that was Punk's show, right? So that's what they were, and Malachi Black mentioned CM Punk's name on that show, but they only Triple H, Nick Khan, and Punk knew about the signing to WWE like as of 10 days ago. Which all got revealed.
Now that's the big question: is who all knew?
That's
Yes, Triple H has vocally said Nick Khan and myself, and there's obviously the footage of Seth Rollins reacting in a way that is, to me it feels like a work. I mean, some people are saying Seth Rollins isn't that great of an actor. I think he is. I think he is one of the workhorses for the company. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. There are multiple interviews. Yes, there's the cancer. What did he call him at the Royal Rumble? Cancer Phil comment.
Right.
But if there's a 2019 interview when Punk joined backstage, and one of them was conducted by a friend of mine, Kevin Kellum, where Seth literally says, "Look, I don't have personal preference towards the guy. I'm not a fan of him, but let's make some money." I mean, Seth didn't like Logan Paul. He didn't like Matt Riddle. Mm-hmm. He was not a fan of either of them, but he knows how to put aside personal feelings. Or, given that he is a fan of Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, he knows that personal animosity leads to a better story. So to me, it only makes sense that he is the big Mania opponent for Punk in what will be probably Punk in the main event, because we never got Punk in the main. And they're going to bring that up. They are going to drum up those storylines. You can't not avoid that.
And it's it's not ironic that now that Vince is not in charge, you see Punk coming back. I don't find that ironic at all. I think it was Triple H and him they've made up a while ago, and I think.
Did they make up a while? I mean, that's also part of it. When did they fully make? Was it the quote unquote mystery appearance?
Yes,
that he made.
Well, they kicked him out of that because that was a contract issue because he was still under contract with AEW at the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, if that had been out in the open that he didn't get kicked out, Tony Khan could sue. I think the kick out was done as a work to prevent Tony, because Tony has been very litigious about and has openly named WWE and specifically Triple H's messing with I believe it was Malachi Black,
right?
And I believe he reached out to Swerve as well, Swerve Strickland.
Yeah. So man, there's a lot of angles to unfold here to see what is going to be.
Monday is going to be very interesting in Nashville, Tennessee, the Bridgestone Arena, where comedian Nate Bargatze recently sold out, which is it's just a cool feat for a comic to sell out a 60-person arena.
That's huge.
And also home to Punk's first. Who do you think though? But look, Mania with Seth is months away.
Yeah. So you Punk's and I, when you were here, we were speculating all of this stuff, and
who's going to be Punk's first actual opponent in WWE?
Yeah.
I think Shinsuke would be a good one. I know he's been calling out people doing the GTS as well.
I just mentioned that to him right before you jumped on. There's a lot of interesting angles there, but I specifically want to hear your perspective on what was
the live.
What was the mindset of the audience once the last match wrapped up and the 5 Team Rhodes was all raising their hand. Did anyone give up on the notion that Punk is coming back at that point, or where do you guys?
So I'll say this before the show. So the CM Punk chants, there were a few CM Punk chants before the show. What's interesting is there were less chants pre-show for Punk than the All Out that I went to. Because if you remember All Out, there was like,
Yes.
oh, they're gonna hijack the show, or whatever. So pre-show, there were maybe like 2 times where there were CM Punk chants. Both of them were shut down within seconds. People were like, no, fuck that, shut that up. So once the show got going, women's match, there was no CM Punk chants. There were CM Punk chants for the Santos Escobar Dragon Lee match. Because there were a few lulls during that match.
We did hear that. Yeah, we did hear that on TV.
That's where there were some CM Punk chants, which to me, it's like, okay, I get what people are doing. They don't like something, so they'll chant CM Punk. But again, the 2 times they yelled it during that match, both times within a minute or two, it was like booed out, shut down. I was in the kind of first floor area in my section. It was very anti-Punk. Anytime even someone tried to, there were people wearing Punk shirts, and I saw people yelling at them like just for wearing the Punk shirt. It was very
so it's polarizing then, Chicago right now.
Chicago, I think, is very much maybe not polarizing, but just the marks are reading the news. They think that he's a cancer. They're buying into the backstage.
Okay.
Heat. My personal opinion on that stuff is we weren't there. We don't know the full story. Certainly, maybe Phil doesn't like to get along with people, but he also, there's a thing he said in the Cabana podcast that I truly believe, which is, if you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. If you're not nice to me, I'm not nice. He is very reactionary, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and we definitely need to have a full conversation on just that alone, the backstage and all the rumors that came out and everything. But so now here his music hits. What happens in the arena?
So my mindset going into that was, one, you had a couple things. You had the Spotify remaster of Cult of Personality that came out like a day before. You had Punk not refuting. If Punk really, I had a feeling he was going to come. And when the men's match, here's another thing about the men's match. I don't mean to stretch this on and on, but if you notice, once the War Games has started, once all the participants got into the men's match, the men's actual War Games part, once the bell rang and the War Games match started, was shorter than the women's. It felt a little rushed at the end. I don't know how much you guys talked about that.
I could
to
definitely.
Me, it felt rushed, and I think I'm like, okay, this men's match kind of wrapped up pretty quickly. What's gonna happen here? That my first thought was maybe they're still gonna try to do a cash in, because remember when Orton's music didn't hit immediately and Rhea came out with which kind of confused people, and I knew what was going to happen, but like a lot of the fans around me, like there were a lot of kids around me, and they're like, wait, why is Rhea coming? She has the briefcase. I was trying to explain. I was actually like telling a bunch of kids around me, like, no, that like they didn't understand why Rhea's coming. They're like, is Rhea the final member? I'm like, no, she's not the final member. She's coming out. It was so funny watching kids not really kind of understand.
Yeah.
Within 2 minutes, Orton's music hit. I thought that reveal was great.
Yes.
I did not. I don't think Orton needed to be in the cage, standing there the whole time beforehand. No, he should come out right before he's supposed to participate. And again, he looked great. That RK off the top. The two, when everybody was doing the DDTs as a group, all 5 of the members had DDTs going. It was great, and Orton looked great too. He'd been working hard. I love the teamwork between Sammy and Seth at the top of the cage. I thought that was good too. Everybody got a chance to shine. I wish Cody had part of me thinks Cody maybe was a little injured because he did a few spots in the match. He came in strong. He pulled out the bull rope, but I thought he would do more. I thought he would get more physical in the match, and he felt very protected in that match. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but yes, overall pacing of the match, maybe a little rushed at the end, and maybe I'm being a little nitpicky. But again, they had to get through the big reveal. So yes, you're right. We felt the match was over. Everybody was happy. I felt it was a little rushed. I'm like, oh, they're kind of wrapping up early. Maybe something's going to happen. First thought wasn't actually Punk in my mind. I did think he was going to come back. My first thought was they wrapped up. Maybe Orton's going to turn on Cody. That was my other thought. Yeah. They're going to do a turn or something. But, once that music hit, chills went down my spine. You think about moments in wrestling. That's something I talk about on other podcasts and just other wrestling conversations. Wrestling is not just about the moves. Anybody can do a suplex. It's about the moments. It's about the emotion. Yeah. It's about the psychology. And to do it in Allstate Arena, a arena that Punk is known for. Yes, he's come back at United Center. Yes, he's come back at this arena, but he's not come back at Allstate Arena where he had one of his, best moments ever.
Yeah.
An arena that Punk built,
Right.
in a city that Punk is known for. It was a homecoming, and it's funny. All the people were booing when people were chanting Punk's name, but nobody booed when he actually showed up in that arena. Everybody was excited.
Yeah.
The fans were into it. And I didn't think he should have spoke. I liked the pacing of it. He came out, played with the fans a little bit.
Yes.
Did they tease it in the Peacock version? Like he sat down at the top of the ramp. I don't know if he did that.
They didn't show him sitting down. He obviously did it's clobbering time.
He did the clobbering time.
Yeah, we saw that.
They cut out after that.
Yeah, they cut out after that.
So for the live crowd, he sits down like you think he's going to talk. I think people got excited, like, "Whoa, he's going to talk!" But he didn't. No, it was just
do the whole cross-legged thing they usually does.
Yeah,
that's what he did.
He sat down.
Then he got up. I don't know how much of this. Yeah, you probably guys didn't see this, but Orton kind of started getting annoyed. Orton waved, and then he sat on a chair, and then Orton did the blow of the kiss.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that on phone cameras.
Fan camera. Yeah. And then Drew. Everybody's like, "Oh, Drew is mad too," but Drew stormed out before Punk came out.
But did his music hit before he came out? He left, or he left then?
He left before. Wow, he left before. He left.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Or, he left before. He left. And there's fan footage of this. He left when Cody's music is playing.
Okay.
You see him storm out because they played Cody's music because he got the pin.
Yes. No, so that's a whole other thing. Yeah, from our POV, we thought we didn't know the timeline, but I'm glad that So that happened before the Punk thing. He's really pissed about something, and that's
It's curious what he's pissed about, and is it a work? I mean, my friend Kevin, who works in wrestling media, says Drew has not re-signed, and maybe that will play into something. I don't know.
That could be. That could be. Man, so you heard only on a Legend of Wrestling podcast. You're getting inside scoop of someone who witnessed this epic moment in wrestling history. Something maybe 5 years ago.
It's something a lot of people, it's getting reported on like CNN and BBC. My buddy Gary Sampson from England, he was worried about getting spoiled, and lo and behold, it got spoiled for him by the national BBC news. Like it's being covered on a lot of sources.
It's bigger than wrestling. It's feeling like right now.
I mean that shot of Triple H doing the pointing with Punk, like it's like when hell flows over.
Yeah. So that's incredible.
We now get the winter of Punk.
The winter of Punk. That's right.
I want that shirt.
There you go. Speaking of shirts, something else that to me kind of solidifies the fact that very few people knew that he was coming back is the fact that he comes out with a plain white tee. He didn't have any graphics on it.
No.
So to me, that's like, if he's coming out with a shirt already, that could have gotten leaked and people could have found out. So they really protected that kind of Chris Jericho-esque. Like, he's one of those that to come back as a big secret.
Yeah, they didn't have the shirt. And then I thought when we were leaving the arena, I thought they'd have the shirt there ready to go at the store. But no, they were just like ushering people out. We were on the first level. There was a east gate, and I noticed there were a lot of security by the east gate. And when we were coming out, they said, you can't go through the east gate. You have to go through south gate. So my guess is he was probably parked in the east. So they literally were ushering people away from major exits and shuffling them to one side because they didn't want people to see him leave. But there is fan footage on YouTube of him driving away going, So you can.
Typical.
I would encourage your listeners, you guys. He goes. Meh.
There you go. Yeah, I did it.
Yeah. He got a great. You know what gets another big reaction during the commercial breaks is our boy LA Knight. Everybody starts.
Yeah, he's very. Yeah, absolutely.
And he had the Slim Jim commercial. I don't know if that aired on your guys' end, but he had the Slim Jim commercial with the car.
We saw the no, they showed the New Day version of the Slim Jim commercial.
I think so.
On the Peacock, yeah.
Okay, so he had a new version where it was like a strict Catholic school, and he comes out and there's a Rizzios. Yeah.
Really? I gotta see that. Okay.
Snap into it. Yeah.
And then they had the cut. They cut to the car, and I thought, oh, he should come out because he's not been on the card at all.
Right.
You know?
That's what we were talking about earlier too. Yeah.
Yes, he had a nice moment. I do like the Kevin Owens tag team thing. I think that'll be interesting. I'm glad they're giving him something.
Yeah. And Punk is rumored to be a free agent within the WWE, so we shall see what that means.
Oh yeah, I mean you don't like it's perfect for. Here's another thing: the reason why you bring him back now, the TV licensing deals are coming up, and they need something to kind of boost the value of the TV brands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Punk is going to shoot those ratings up
100%. Yeah,
and he should be a free agent. He should be showing up on every show.
And I hope he's such a free agent he shows up on both AEW and WWE. But that's just me being a kid.
You want him to be the Joker still?
Yeah, the devil. Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. I wonder what Tony Khan feels now, like seeing that happen, because obviously he wouldn't have known that he signed. Anyway, that's a whole other podcast.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
I would like for Punk to. I mean, look, we both, regardless of your backstage feelings about Punk, I think everybody should be excited for this moment of wrestling. I think one thing we can say about Punk is he is a supporter of working with new talent and giving new talent the rub. I mean, there's no reason he shouldn't show up in NXT. I would love to see Punk in NXT.
Me too. Yeah. So that's what they say, is that him having a Brock deal essentially is that he's he's free to go to either of them. So any of the shows, the major.
He
shows.
Should be an attraction. He is an attraction. He shouldn't.
This is why he wanted it into 2013, and they didn't give it to him. So he wanted to have the Brock Lesnar deal. So now he has it.
He wanted that Brock, and also like they were trying to do that with Edge, if you remember, and Edge said, "No, I want to wrestle more frequently." But to me, whether it's for his health or whether it's for just the novelty wearing off, if you see him every week, I don't think people like Edge or CM Punk or Brock Lesnar or Roman should wrestle every week.
No,
I don't think we need to see them every week.
I agree with you 100%.
It makes them more special.
Absolutely. The Andre the Giant treatment. So, any shows you want to plug coming up?
I will be, depending on when this comes out, I will be in Chicago through December 5th. My birthday is Saturday, December 2nd. I have 2 shows that day. I'm at the Lincoln Lodge. I'm doing Don't Tell Comedy that night. Tickets are available. I've put the new dates up on my website for December, pratikcomedy.com. I will be in Austin, Texas, the 6th through the 9th. I will be in Los Angeles, the 12th through the 15th. So yeah, nice. All my dates are on my website, pratikcomedy.com. Hope to see you guys soon. Hopefully we can do a more in-depth episode covering sort of Punk or where they're going.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And happy early birthday to yourself.
Happy early birthday.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it. Happy early birthday to you as well. I believe you're Sagittarius as well.
Yeah.
Fuck this man's birthday.
See, no respect for the real.
Sheik ain't a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
I know that.
Sheik is salty since the Punk has returned. Yeah. But no.
Maybe that's what Seth meant by cancer. That he was just talking about CM Punk's sign.
Right. Yeah. So check out pratikcomedy.com, I believe.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes. Thank you, Pratik, for joining.
Despite the technical difficulties.
Absolutely.
A little bit of a power. The WCW power plant was not available to Paramount.
That's the next big news to come back is WCW. No,
and it's never going away ever again.
Yeah, right.
We put on when we got home. I was staying with my friend's house. We put on Fall Brawl '94, the one with old stunning Steve Austin losing to Hacksaw Duggan in a few minutes, and then they did the old War Games cage with the top one. That's still like I like that AEW does the blood and guts match with the top one. I think that's pretty cool.
It is, and I like that it's now different between the two companies.
I like that. I don't think they need to be the same.
They don't need to be the same. Yeah. They totally mark out for each other, and we all noticed that the WWE and AEW they're very in sync with what the other one is doing, and they try to top it. And the Will Ospreay return was completely because of that, I think.
It's all pro wrestling. They all admire each other's work for the most part, unless they have personal animosity.
That's right.
So, at the end of the day, they're watching these matches. Yeah. And the people in the other company are watching those matches, and they're all
their matches. And I watch more for wrestlers, too. Like, there's stuff on AEW. I still love that Keith Lee Samoa Joe match from a couple weeks ago. I thought
100%.
It was great, man.
Yeah, they're
good
great.
Good meat chance.
Now I'm curious where AEW, what Tony Khan does now with this revelation, and see where he takes AEW. What big signing I don't think he needs to have a big signing. Maybe just elevate the programs that they do have, and
elevate the program. They have great storylines. World's End is when Samoa Joe cashes in his. Let's see what happens there. Let's see what happens with Cole. I still think the Cole MJF rivalry, saga, story, friendship, whatever it is, very fascinating program. Where does MJF go from here?
I think Cole is the devil.
Okay.
I could see that.
And they can play that off even without revealing the injury. Somebody else could be masked and throw that off until it's time to actually reveal that it was Cole all along.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a theory, but the interesting
I like that. I would prefer that over, what the current speculation is?
Who is it?
They think it's going to be Jack Perry. I do not want that.
Oh, God. The fact that they're gonna bring him back, he was, I know he's a pillar of the company and everything, but still.
I wonder if they're gonna bring him back in like sort of an anti-Punk angle because Punk is on the other show. I wonder if his character is gonna be like real glass and crimey, like he's gonna play into that guy.
I know.
The intriguing thing is World's End, the date and the location, 30th of December. Long Island, New York.
Long Island.
Bidding War of 2024.
MJF. Yeah. So with that, tune into the next episode of Legend of Wrestling podcast as we break down all of these angles as they are developed. Raw is going to be amazing tomorrow at the time of this recording. This episode is going to be out before your birthday, so keep it tuned. Support Pratik's comedy, support Weapon X, MC, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Pej the Maniac on all social media platforms, and I have a December 10th birthday show at Cosmic Vinyl. Come support, come hang out with me. Pratik, much love. Let's get together when you're in LA, bro.
Yes, let's get together when I'm there. See you guys all real soon.
We'll have a live show that week.
Yeah, let's do a live show when you're in town. Hell yeah.
Live show, yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You suck, underjoyed. You suck. Fabulous Moolah. You suck. Jeff Rockers. You suck.